G'day, mate. 40 here. So I just listened to an article about how friendships are breaking up over Taylor Swift. And isn't that silly? I mean, Taylor Swift sings popular music. It doesn't have great depth. But apparently, if you don't like Taylor Swift, you're internalized misogyny. Or if you do like Taylor Swift, it means that you're okay with her white supremacism. So one thing I do notice about fans of Taylor Swift, they do overwhelmingly tend to be white. So when this half black woman who says she can pass as white says in the article that she can't resonate with Taylor Swift songs because they seem to be all about the white experience and white girl problems, uh, I kind of get it. That doesn't seem absurd to me. Like, not only do different groups have different gifts, they have different experiences, right? Do African Americans, generally speaking, feel like core Americans, or do they feel like they're on the periphery of the American experience? So too with many other minority groups, they don't feel like core Americans. They may feel some considerable distance from core American concerns. They may feel on the periphery, on the margins. Most people don't like being on the margins. Most people don't enjoy being part of a minority. But the bigger point about the friendships breaking up over Taylor Swift is that it returns to an axiom that I've talked about a lot on the show, and that's balance theory. That when we fall out of balance with the people around us, that places those relationships into strain. So if you love Taylor Swift, or if you love anything, that is going to likely put some strain on your relationships if other people don't reciprocate that intensity of love. So whether you form a particularly intense relationship to a preacher, or to a pop singer, or to a book, or to a radio show, to a sports team, to a hobby, to political persuasion, to a painting, to a podcast, right? As soon as you love something, that's going to start putting your other relationships under strain, because usually your other relationships are not going to simultaneously love things as much as you do. Now, I largely live in an abstract world because I'm a bachelor, I don't have kids. So I get to spend most of my time thinking about ideas. And so I have largely fallen out with people over ideas. When my life revolves around ideas, when I'm constantly excited about ideas and new ideas, I'm an intellectual gigolo, right? I fall in love with every beautiful new idea that comes along, but ultimately stay loyal to none. Just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, life goes on without me. And so I developed these intense fascinations and obsessions with ideas and their implications. And often these ideas will blow up other comfortable assumptions that I might have had previously or people around me have. And that places a strain on relationships. So whenever you get passionate about something, you're going to start to put a strain on your other relationships with people who don't share your passion. Now, if your connections with other people are primarily based on relationships, right? If you're a normal person who's married with a spouse and kids, right, then what you're going to be most obsessed about is your family, right? And so if you're primarily concerned about your family, then you should be able to relate to most other people who are also similarly most concerned about the family, right? About two-thirds of the country, I've heard it estimated, have secure attachment. Probably two-thirds of people are primarily interested in their family. And so that seems like an excellent basis for connection, as opposed to these more peripheral, constantly changing things where it's pop culture, right? If you don't have kids, right, you're going to be on a constant hunt for excitement. But I don't have kids, so I'm on a constant hunt for excitement. I usually find excitement in intellectual ways, but I've got to find that excitement. And you find this even among married couples who don't have kids, right? Particularly the men. Even rabbis, like childless rabbis, will write autobiographies. Right? Autobiographies are often the product of people who don't have kids, such as myself, because we have to put more work into creating meaning. Right? Normally, meaning is something that's just handed to people as they develop their family. But if you don't have a family, if you don't have children, then you have to put extra work into meaning. Otherwise, you confront the terrible vacuity of life. I was just reading an essay in the New Yorker about this hot new philosopher. He's from South Korea, lives in Germany, has a PhD in philosophy. He writes these little monographs of about 100 pages. And there's this phrase in there, the terrifying vacuity of life, right, the terrible emptiness of life if you don't have children. Right? Your life might feel incredibly empty, and so you're going to cling to your hero system to give your life significance, to try to hold insignificance at bay and try to connect yourself to something eternal that's going to outlast you. But when you seize on a hero system, right, to give your life meaning, right, it works best if it comes from your community. And if you have a hero system that's not aligned with the people who you are close to, if it's not aligned with your community, you're going to be into a world of pain, because that which gives your life meaning and purpose and direction and a feeling of significance and connection to the eternal, right, how many people can you share that with? So ideally, you want to be like the Orthodox Jew who lives with other Orthodox Jews, or the fervent evangelical Christian who spends most of his spare time with other evangelical Christians, or the passionate Sikh devotee who gets to spend most of his spare time with his fellow Sikhs. Because if you're not surrounded by people who share your hero system, it can be a very lonely, disconnected life.